So good afternoon, everybody, and let me just start by saying that we really appreciate the help, the collaboration, and the cooperation we've gotten from the center here at MIT. And Joe, I want to give you and your team a big high five for that. Thank you. I also want to say that today is part of what I would describe as a bittersweet victory tour for our Secretary of Elder Affairs. I'm a big Alice Bonner fan. I think she rocks. And she's going to be leaving at the end of the year, and we obviously wish you nothing but success in your new gig, and we hope you won't be a stranger to all of us. Let me just say this. This opportunity, this whole issue around isolation and loneliness is a really big deal as science and technology and in some cases good habits make it possible for people to live much longer lives than anybody ever imagined they might be able to live. And when you talk about a third of your life being defined as part of that time in which you're quote unquote a senior citizen, that's a really big deal. And I think in some respects, we are just starting to wrap our heads around that. I mean, I think about, for example, the fact that when I worked in the Weldon Cellucci administrations back in the 1990s, we didn't have assisted living in Massachusetts. We didn't have a lot of community-based service delivery models. We had nursing homes. And the reason we had nursing homes was because people got to be about 61, 62, or 63, and that's where they went. And as a 62-year-old, I find that kind of interesting. But part of what happened over that period of time was we worked with others to create legislation and a framework for assisted living, and then we got really involved in partnerships with senior housing and other kinds of public housing where we started to put services in alongside the housing itself. And then the whole notion of creating community-based supports for people so that they could age in place became yet another new idea. And then the whole issue associated with work landed on top of all these other elements. And I think in many ways, we are coming to grips with the fact that, yes, people are going to live a lot longer. And not only are they going to live a lot longer, they are going to have a great deal to offer. And I got into some really interesting conversations with the folks on our own team when I started talking about creating this council. Because I wanted to call it a council on older adults. Because to this, I lost, by the way. Seems to happen a lot when I'm dealing with Secretary Sudders. But in any event, I really hated the idea that once you're old, you're aging, because there's an implication there that you no longer have vitality and capacity to contribute and the ability to do great things. And my dad's 90, okay? He's still the smartest guy I ever met. And honest to God, I can't think of anything at the age of 90 he wouldn't be able to do if somebody gave him an assignment. And I think one of the things we need to do collectively is to recognize and understand that this is just a matter of time. That's all it is. It's a matter of time for the vast majority of the folks who are over the age of, take 60, for example. But they still have a ton to offer, a ton to contribute, huge opportunities to lead and make a difference. And it's not an accident that the co-chairs of our council were Secretary Sudders and Eileen Connors, okay? Eileen's a social worker. That's part of why, and I've known her for many, many years, which is part of the reason why we asked her to do this. But we wanted to have somebody representing the state side and then somebody representing what I would describe as an older person. Now, anybody who knows Eileen, knows that's the last way anybody would ever choose to define her or what she's about. And I think we've got to climb over that hump and recognize and understand that it's just a matter of time, nothing else. And a big part of dealing with this issue around isolation and around loneliness is around accepting, understanding, and taking advantage of the fact that you got a lot of folks out there with a lot to offer and a ton of experience, a ton of knowledge, and a lot of leadership capabilities and teamwork opportunities. And the final thing I'll say is, and you have to assume you don't have all the answers, and that's a big part of what this collaborative initiative was about. Let's give a whole bunch of people a chance to toss their ideas into the pot and see what comes of it. And this has become sort of one of the great ways to gather insights, opportunities, and ideas. This whole idea of sort of crowdsourcing the traditional creative process. And I think it's a terrific way to go about doing this. I want to thank all the folks at the bottom of the screen over there for the work that they did associated with this. And we look forward to having the opportunity to chase a bunch of these ideas on a go-forward basis. And with that, I want to turn the mic over to my co-conspirator over there, Secretary Mary Lou Sudders.